I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is Bruce Dickinson of
Book of Thel.
Iron Maiden.
Alright, you say the big homies name.
This is for the big homie Muck Meh. There are multiple ways to get your song reviewed, dear listener. My favorite is the community option. $1 to gate gets you in a Patreon where you will meet the amazing Leah of the village.
Oh,
the
maybe
amazing...
it's another way of saying fuck me, but muck me. Like fuck me. I don't know.
So, where you will get to meet the amazing Leah and the amazing Pony, etc., etc. You then get to pull your points together. It helps determine what songs that we do. And on top of that, based on what tier you're on, there's different perks. So right now, at the $5 tier, you can listen to the first 40 seconds of your brother's guitar work and the drumming and things of that nature. And because we're in a band, we have an international band, very important people. So we've got that going at the $5 rate, and then we just did an interview with Guar. And if you're at the $10 rate or above, you're going to get a sneak peek as to that interview before everybody else does. So there's just lots of different reasons to jump on, depending on what you want to accomplish via Patreon. Now, if you're a filthy capitalist like Sori, and you want to hop, skip, and jump in front of everybody in the line, $125.
You know what you want? You want to send out good music to the village.
Vin and Sori merch at gmail.com for PayPal.
There's also a Cash App option, and you can also jump on Patreon to do that. If you look in the description of this video, you should be able to find all those links.
So there we go. And having said that, that's what the big homie did. You do it 3 times, you get bumped down to $75 rate for all perpetuity. Having said that, Bruce Dickinson, Book of Thel, let's go. This is a good song.
What demon hath formed this abominable void, this soul-shuddering vacuum? Some said it is Urizen, but unknown, abstracted, brooding secret, the dark power hid.
Wow. There was some really beautiful parts in that. At the beginning, I was like, what? And I love the end, and This part was just beautiful, and then they started adding in that. I'm like, okay. Woo!
You know, guys, they go off and do solo projects sometimes, and
I feel like it embarrasses the band sometimes.
it's like, yeah.
You weren't gonna say it like that.
It's like, I get it. You know, a lot of times though, it's just they need to get it out of their system.
Yeah.
Like they had a style that's not similar to the band, so they gotta get it out of their system. So.
We saw one just recently that I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, 100%. So, but
whoa!
very rarely.
Somebody tell that brother to shut that down.
So, I'm not gonna say that this is better than any Iron Maiden song I've heard, because that's ridiculous. But the last two Iron Maiden songs we did, this one right here, man.
Oh, this is wicked good. I really like this.
This is one of the best songs I've heard from. I have to say Bruce. I can't say Iron Maiden because he's part of Iron Maiden, but this is a solo record. He did this in '98.
It's interesting because it still kind of had that Iron Maiden feel to it because
100%.
It had his voice.
Yeah, and some of the guitar.
Yeah.
Some of the guitar signatures were very Maiden-esque as well.
It was really beautifully done.
Yeah, man, this was I love the melody in the chorus.
Now, yeah.
I love the melody in the chorus.
So
Good
his
Lord.
name is Bruce Dickinson?
Yeah.
Isn't there an author? Someone Dickinson is a pretty major author.
Yeah, the guy who wrote
Robinson Crusoe or something?
Scrooge.
Is it Scrooge? Okay,
yeah. No, it's Charles. That's Charles Dickens.
Oh, it's Dickens.
Yeah. This is Dickinson.
Yeah.
Maybe
okay.
he's his son. Who knows? Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed
the way
this
they
song.
did the talking at the end. It made it sound like it was maybe a concept album where you would get a story.
Well, there's this guy named William Blake who is responsible, I think, for the narrative, at least in this song. There's two major books that are quoted, basically. The book of Thel, and then the second one is called the first book of Urizen.
Yeah, they mentioned that in the...
Which, here's where the quote comes. That quote at the very end was from that one, where it says...
you want me to pull it out?
Self-closed, all-repelling, what demon hath formed this abominable void, this soul-shrouding vacuum? Some said it is Urizen, but unknown, abstracted, blood-brooding secret, the dark power hid. So that's from. So that this guy, Blake, must have heavily inspired this song for sure. And so that's and basically the gist of the story of the Book of Thel that I could put
Yeah,
together.
because I was going to say, I'm not familiar with the Book of Thel.
Is there these sisters and they're all shepherdesses, I guess, and then Thel is one of the sisters and she's like on this quest to figure out why, you know, the cycle of spring, why do the flowers that basically come up in springtime die in the winter, and it's about dealing with death and things like that. She goes to, I forgot what she goes to first, but then she goes to a worm of the clay, and the worm of the clay says, you know, you should come down to the underground to see where you're going to be when you die, and all the rest of it. So it appears that that particular book is about, like, the relationship between the quest for knowledge and the loss of innocence.
Oh.
It seems that, like, that's being sort of, you know, transposed and explored philosophically throughout the book is what he was doing.
Well, what about the priestess and...
Well, so this guy over here is saying that Dickinson is flipping it so that instead of a woman being the protagonist, that Thel becomes the priestess, and then there's a guy who is now being taught about life from her. So she learned all the whatever, and now she has the wisdom, and now she's a priestess, and now there's this guy going to her, and he's giving her the same type of direction and all the rest of it. And it's really interesting too, because it's basically, it said that the Book of Thel is an allegory of the unborn spirit visiting the world of generation. Thel rejects the self-sacrificing aspects of experience and flees back to eternity. The symbols of the lily of the valley, the cloud, the worm, and the clod of clay represent idealistic, fancy, youth, adolescence, and motherhood. So what they're talking about, yeah, so he initially went to the cloud, and the cloud said, even though you can't always see me, I'm always here. Mm-hmm. And then she wanted more information. The cloud was like, I can't give that to you. So then she went to the cloud, the worm, mm-hmm. and then she went down and into the underworld and all that. So that's the gist of the story.
Why do you think it says waxy tears run down your face?
Which one? It depends on the content.
Right here.
Mark is on you now, the furnace inside your head, melting from the inside now, waxy tears run down your face. Well, he's just saying that I think he's just going with the metaphor of there's a furnace, so there's a mark on you. You know how they seal those things in wax? So that's what I think he's talking about, the mark, but there's a furnace inside of your head. So if you were marked with that wax thing, but then there was a furnace in your head, it would melt, and then it would be, waxy tears running down your face. The whore that never told a tale relives it every night with you. Far off stands the lamb and waits for the wolf to come and end its life. So I'm interpreting that to be, because remember, this is a pretty complex idea, but I'm interpreting that as, because at the beginning of the book of Thel, the woman, she's innocent.
Okay.
And I think he's saying, okay, well, what if she wasn't innocent and she embraced experience and life and death, and so now she is going to bring him to the underworld or whatever. Uh-huh. So she becomes the whore or a temple prostitute, and then far off stands the lamb and waits for the wolf to come end its life. So there's like some being or whatever that's going to take him to the underworld, because this dude is just the prey for this priestess. So that's how I looked at it. I think this is one of those times when maybe he's reading himself into the story. So I think he thought this story was so compelling, mm-hmm. but since he's a dude, he kind of transposed it a little bit. And so, stand inside the temple, the book of Thel is opening, the priestess stands before you, offering her hand out, she's rising. And then come the dawning of the dead and famine and in war, now the harlot womb of death spits out its rotten core. So I think it's like, if she didn't lose her innocence, then she would swing the other way and become, not good, bad, whatever, notorious, whatever you want to say, whatever adjective you want to attach to it, is what I think they're gunning for here. And so, and again, the song is dealing with death and the concept of death and the whole, that's the thing that was tormenting. Why does the springtime of life inevitably fade so that all things must end? Yeah. And so it looks like here she's embraced it, and now that becomes like the centerpiece of her religion to some degree. It looks like that to me anyway. It looks like everything is about death. So here's another one.
Come the dawning of the dead and famine and war.
She invites Thel to enter into her underground realm and see the dark prison of the dead, where Thel herself will one day reside. However, Thel is assailed by a mysterious voice asking a whole series of questions about existence, etc., etc., etc. So she's not with it, but now she's with it, and now she's the one bringing him to death. Is what I garnered from it. Serpents on the altar now wrapped itself around your spine, so you look into its mouth and you kiss the pearly fangs divine. I think there is. I'm actually reading that audiobook, This Present Darkness. It's about demons, and they were talking about, I'm pretty sure it's like Kundalini. Yeah. That's yoga or some sort of Hinduism, but basically there's the idea that there's like a serpent up your spine or whatever. So it looks like that's where, that's where you got that.
Well, what's the idea? What's the point?
You're trying to get to the base of the coil of the serpent. You know what else is crazy? This review is all over the place. So the FBI just released. No. The CIA did. Yeah. The CIA just released a document that basically validates transcendental meditation and out-of-body experience. Yeah, really? Out-of-body experiences and all that. Yeah. Analysis of the gateway product. There it is right there. And they're this guy was apparently deployed to do the research on it. And this is as far back as 9 June 1983.
1983?
Yeah, it got released. And he talks about hypnosis, out-of-body experience, transcendental meditation, On the other hand, transcendental meditation works in a distinctly different fashion. And this dude is talking about, we'll give you the link because it's open source now. He's talking about it like that it's real. There it is again.
What, that the experience of leaving your own body and then returning to it?
Out-of-body experiences, astral travel, the whole 9 yards. Kundalini psychosis or transcendent
I don't
states.
actually think that's very crazy.
I
mean, it's weird to hear them saying it, yeah.
I think it is absolutely crazy to me. Why? Why does that not surprise you?
Maybe it's not that crazy to me because of the different things that I've personally experienced, and I don't think that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Well, so, I don't have an issue with. See, there's a Kundalini thing.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that being real. What I think is surprising is that the CIA would admit to it being real. That's
well, yeah, beyond that, I think it's weird that they even went in to look into it.
Right.
Why?
Right. Right.
So if it is real...
What is the principle of the Kundalini serpent? According to Tantra, Kundalini energy rests like a coiled serpent at the base of the spine. When this dormant energy flows freely upward through the 7 chakras and leads to an expanded state of consciousness, it's known as Kundalini awakening. So, all this Kundalini stuff is in the CIA. And it's like, oh, this is, silliness. Okay, I guess the CIA are populated with a bunch of silly people, I guess. I don't know. So when it talks about the serpent wrapping around the spine and all that, you look into its mouth, you kiss the pearly fangs. I think he's talking about like maybe getting to that Kundalini awakening.
Wow.
And so I think like he's combining the Thel imagery with that stuff. It's just a very, very spiritual song.
Remember that time that we're talking to that person that was like talking about like their chi, and you could warm up their whole being with their chi, but then they were like on this mat and they had ski pants on or something.
Then they had a little space heater too.
I don't know.
That was a big thing that I was laughing at on the way back home. I'm like, this guy's like, look, man, like he was, no disrespect, but he was like, look, man, like I can manipulate my energy such that. And then he was talking to me about all these other people who did it in the Alps and in the snow and all that, and like the snow melted. Remember we were talking about the snow melted around the guy when he was in the lotus position?
He was wearing like ski pants, and he kept doing this when he was talking.
And
to
he had a space heater.
He probably did.
He did. I remember very distinctly. Brother had a space heater.
I just remember.
Shout out to the big hope.
Wait a minute.
He hasn't hit awakening yet. That's obvious. The next song is. The Gates of Urizen. So this is probably a concept record. But good Lord, this is like a behemoth level. You got to kind of do your research type of thing. Like we haven't listened to a behemoth song in a while, so it's cool that we're able to listen to this song and kind of. But yeah, I'll put that CIA stuff down there, y'all. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it's unbelievable stuff.
Send me the link so I can put it in this video.
Yeah. For sure. So, yeah, man, I thoroughly enjoyed this song a ton.
So did I.
A ton.
So did I. It's definitely a 10 for me.
Listen to this. Approved for release on in 2003.
Wow.
Because it was 83. It was supposed to be released in 2003.
But.
And
took a while before.
Took a while. He's talking about holograms. He's talking about. I mean, it's insane.
I actually would be interested to read that.
Yeah, I mean, it's 42.
Did you read the whole thing?
Yeah, I read the whole thing. It's 42 pages. There he goes. He's talking about an out-of-body experience.
Babe, you're so funny. When did you read this? When you're supposed to be sleeping?
Yeah. What? What's so funny about that?
Because you're like a grown man that's like a child. Like.
Yeah, but I mean, this is pretty crazy, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. I just think that if I was reading 42 pages when it was time to be asleep, I probably would fall asleep, even if I'm interested.
It's not like 42. It's 42 computer pages. You know what I mean? It's not.
Still 42 pages.
Anyway. So yeah, we're gonna put it on there. I mean, it's crazy stuff. This song is a 10 for me. The lyrics, the way he sings, what he does with melody, like. Loved it. Loved the guitar lines. The guitar lines were great. I mean, this was a really, really good song, and I'm very happy this was our introduction to Bruce Dickinson's solo project.
I know, yeah.
You picked a very good one,
Yes.
Muck Man.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Tell the truth. Awesome stuff. CIA, Iron Maiden. You
Check it out.
You can only do this with rock and roll, man. You only do it with rock and roll. Tell me another genre that's going to happen. It's not going to happen. Vin out.
I feel like it's not going to happen on any of their reaction channel either.
What?
Like they're going to get a CIA report in the middle of the review.
It's open source.
Yeah, okay, you just find me one other reaction channel that brings up stuff like that during the reaction.
You don't. I mean, you don't even need any sort of clearance. It's completely open source. You're good.
Oh, you're missing my point. Anyway, that's it.
What? No, I was listening to you. I'm just telling you it's open source. Everybody's got access to it.
You're right. Everybody's talking about this. Every reaction channel.
Well, nobody's talking about it. It's mind blowing.
That's my point.
It's mind blowing. It's like these guys are talking about out of body experiences, like legitimizing all this stuff, and you guys are just gonna just keep strolling like nothing.
Well,
that's just crazy.
They wouldn't stroll like nothing if they actually knew about it. I didn't know about it. I would have never brought it up. Anyway, there you have it.
There you go, dear listener. The moral of the story is there is
Vin's an
no
avid
more.
reader and soaks up information like a sponge in his brain. And reads when he should sleep.
Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.
And I sleep when I should read.